Hello, and welcome back to another video. Alright boys, we need to talk, like right now, because the Coalition just dropped a piece of news today, and I mean literally today, like this just went up today, about the Gears E-Day beta. And on the surface, it sounds super exciting, beta's almost here, but once you actually read the fine print, yeah, it's bad, and we need to talk about it, because I think a lot of you are about to be disappointed, and I'd rather you hear it from me first than find out the hard way on August 6th. So let's get right into it. Alright, so quick level set for anyone that's just now tuning in. Gears of War E-Day launches October 6th. It's the prequel we've literally all been waiting for. Emergence Day, Marcus and Dom before everything goes sideways. The several years since Gears 5 comeback story. This is a big swing for the Coalition. It's Xbox and PC only, no PlayStation, which already tells you how much is riding on this from Microsoft's platform strategy. This isn't just another Gears game. This is supposed to be the one that brings everybody back into the franchise. Honestly, it's kind of the last dying hope to do so. And a huge part of that comeback pitch has been the multiplayer. We found out a few days ago that E-Day is bringing back two modes. The classic 4v4 versus, and a brand new mode called Horde Siege, which, by the way, is genuinely a big deal. Instead of one squad holding down one spot for 10 waves or 50 waves like classic Horde, Horde Siege throws 3 different 4-player squads, so 12 players total, onto one massive map, all fighting through their own objectives at the same time in the same world, sometimes crossing paths, and sometimes stumbling on the gear another squad left behind after they extracted. Genuinely cool concept. So naturally, when the Coalition announced a beta, the entire community got hyped, right? We got 2 full weekends to test drive the multiplayer before launch. Well, here's where it gets a little messy. So today on Steam, the Coalition posted the actual beta details. Times, dates, what's included, the whole breakdown, and I want to walk you through this carefully because the wording here matters a lot. Here's the structure. There are 2 beta weekends. Weekend 1, they're calling it Early Access. It runs August 6th through August 10th. That's for anyone who pre-ordered the game on Xbox, Steam, or has Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. Weekend 2 is the actual quote-unquote open beta. That one runs August 13th through the 17th, and it's open to everybody. No pre-order is required. Now on paper, that sounds totally normal, right? Early access rewards people who pre-order, and then the following week it's up to the world for an open beta. Standard beta rollout. We've seen this a million times. But this is the part that sucks. The content is not going to be the same between those 2 weekends. During early access, the week you have to actually pre-order to get into, you only get Horde Siege, and that's it. Just the PvE mode. And then the following week, when the open beta drops for everyone, that's when they're finally flipping the switch on 4v4 versus the PvP mode alongside Horde Siege. So let that sink in for a moment, and let's talk about why this actually matters. Because I know some of you are thinking, okay, so what? It's still a beta, just play the PvE first. And look, I get it, but walk through this with me. When this multiplayer reveal first dropped, the messaging from the Coalition and basically every outlet that covered it was that the beta was going to showcase both modes, Horde Siege and Versus, together. That's the pitch that got people to pre-order. That's what built the hype train. Nobody was reading the initial coverage thinking, oh, I'll only get half the experience if I commit early. The expectation reasonably was pre-order, get in early, and experience the full multiplayer suite before everybody else. Instead, what you're actually getting for committing your money early, for pre-ordering sight unseen, for locking in Game Pass Ultimate, is access to one of 2 modes. The PvP crowd, the Versus loyalists, the people who have been asking for the competitive gears since the reveal trailer dropped, they get to sit on the sidelines for an entire extra week watching Horde Siege footage flood their feeds, while the mode they actually care about stays locked behind the second fully open weekend that requires literally no commitment at all. Think about the incentive structure here for a second. Why would you pre-order early if the mode a huge chunk of this fan base is most excited about is going to be available to literally everyone the following week anyway, pre-order or not? The reward for early access isn't actually a reward for PvP fans, it's a consolation prize. And that's really the core of why I'm calling this a bait and switch. The initial hype, the reveal trailer, the deep dive, all of it sold fans on a complete multiplayer package. Then the actual fine print dropped today, quietly split that package in half and handed the early access crowd the smaller piece. And that's not transparency. That's managing expectations after the pre-orders were already locked in. To be fair to the Coalition, for a second, I don't really think that this is some kind of like evil, cynical scheme to screw people over. My honest read is that this is probably a technical or balancing decision. Versus modes are notoriously hard to get server stable and balanced at scale, especially with new movement mechanics in play, and they may genuinely need that extra week of Horde Siege only data before they're comfortable opening PvP to a wider, less invested crowd, and that's a legitimate reason. But here's the thing, a legitimate reason doesn't erase the disconnect between what fans were led to expect and what they're actually getting. If this was a resourcing or stability call, that's a conversation the Coalition needed to have with the community before people pre-ordered based on the full package pitch, not buried in a beta details post the same week the beta goes live. And look, I want to zoom out here for a moment because I don't think this is just about one beta weekend. I think this is about something bigger for the franchise. It's been roughly 6-ish years since Gears 5. That is an eternity in this industry. The goodwill for this franchise has been running on fumes for so long, and quite honestly, everything that came out after Gears 3 has been kind of a struggle or a letdown. Gears 5 split the fan base. There wasn't a mainline follow-up, and a lot of the longtime fans have quietly drifted off to other shooters in the meantime. I mean, the story kind of fell short, the DBs sucked across Gears 4 and 5. It all just, you know? Just ugh. And E-Day is supposed to be the reset button. It's supposed to be the moment where the Coalition says, we heard you, we're going back to what made this franchise great. Come home, let's play. And I genuinely believe that that's the intention behind E-Day. Emergence Day, Marcus and Dom, the tone, the creepy horror atmosphere. Everything about the pitch says we respect the roots of this series, but intention only gets you so far. Execution is what actually brings people back, and your first real hands-on impression with a comeback title carries an enormous amount of weight. First impressions in this climate are almost impossible to walk back, and you're already seeing that with the lack of maps and modes being released. This beta is the first time in 6 to 7 years that skeptical, lapsed fans are going to put their hands on a new Gears multiplayer experience. And if the headline out on week 1 is I pre-ordered and I still couldn't play the modes that I actually wanted to, then that's not a great first beat in the comeback story that you're trying to tell and sell. That's kind of the thing that sticks here to the fans, and that's kind of the thing that shows up in every comment section between now and October 6th. This to me genuinely feels like the Coalition's last real chance to bring the wider Gears community back into the fold. Not their only chance in some dramatic doom and gloom sense. I mean, the game could still land in October regardless of how the beta goes. But in terms of goodwill, in terms of controlling the narrative, in terms of getting the benefit of the doubt from a fan base that's already waited 6 years, this is the moment. And moments like this don't come around twice. So here's where I land on all of this. I'm not saying skip the beta. Genuinely, if you've got early access, go play Horde Siege. From everything we've seen in previews, it sounds like a legitimately strong evolution of the mode. There's 12 players, 3 squads, shared battlefield, all of it. It looks awesome. That part of the pitch is real and it has earned the hype. But I do think fans deserve to walk into August 6th with clear eyes about what they're actually getting. This is not the full multiplayer experience out the gate. If PvP is what you're logging on for, you're going to be waiting an extra week regardless of whether you pre-ordered or not, and that's worth knowing before you drop money on a pre-order, not after. And to the Coalition, if by some chance anyone over there ever sees something like this, communication is everything right now. You are sitting on genuinely exciting content. Horde Siege sounds great. Versus sounds like it's had real thought put into it. You don't need to oversell the beta rollout and let fans fill in the gaps themselves. Just tell us straight, up front, what we're getting and when. That's it. That's literally all it takes to turn this from a bait and switch story into a smart staged rollout story, especially when you have such dedicated fans. Alright. That's all I got for you today. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you still diving into early access on the 6th, or are you holding out for the full open beta on the 13th to get the whole picture? I want to hear where you land on this one. As always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye.